Coach, got the news just a few minutes ago that you have decided to step down after a pretty remarkable 5-year run at Hammond. And the first thing that I think everyone will ask you is what went into the decision?
Family, time away from kids and family, number one. Medical health. I've had some eye operations and some back operations and some chronic back pain, and so health is another issue. And I'd like to spend more time. I've been on the board of medical missions for the last 5 years or 25 years, and have been fortunate to go to Africa and Peru and Brazil and Mexico, all over the world for the Lord's calling. And I'd like to spend more time devoted to medical missions and try to build that a little more. And I'm working on a project in Southwest Mexico, so I just felt like it was kind of time. You know, I'm not old by any means, but I'm 56 and was here for 5 years and 2 or 3, 4 years before that with middle school. So it's been an 8-9 year run at Hammond, and I'm very blessed to have the opportunity to coach high school basketball. It was something I always wanted to do, my lifetime dream, and Jeff Barnes and Chris Angel at Hammond allowed me the opportunity, and I was blessed with just great kids to coach. They were a joy to be with and worked really hard, and the parents were great. So all the way around, it's just been a wonderful experience, and I've been very blessed.
I know when you took the job 5 years ago, the kind of your own mission, as well as I'm sure the folks that hired you, was to try to make this basketball program relevant again. It had been struggling. I think it won 10 games, if I'm not mistaken, in the 2 years, 10 years total in the 2 years prior to you taking the job. And obviously you achieved that in spades. Talk about how rewarding it is, even though I know this decision was made just in the last couple of days, but in retrospect, seeing that Hammond was probably the last 2 years the most visible program, I would say, in the state of South Carolina, is certainly in the Midlands. Surely you've had a little time to kind of reflect on that as you were making your decision one way or the other, and just kind of give me your thoughts on that. It's pretty amazing what's happened.
Yeah, you know, I'd like to thank Sam Hare. Sam's one of my best friends. We played together at College of Charleston, so he needs his props for being on the ride with me. And he's a great coach and great friend, so he shared this experience with me. You know, where it ended up was just kind of phenomenal. I mean, nationally ranked for a month in USA Today, top 16. I stayed in there for a month. We won 36 games this past year in a row. Didn't lose in calendar 2015. Won the Chick-fil-A for the first time Midlands team in many years. We beat the 10th ranked team in the country, and then won another big tournament in Greenville. So, yeah, it's just been a great run. Whenever you leave some opportunity, you want to leave it in a better place than where you started. So I certainly think the Hammond program's in a great place. Going forward, they've got some great players coming back next year that got a lot of game experience this year. So, you know, middle school, JV, varsity all won region titles, tournament titles this year. So that was a good sweep for the boys and the girls. So the basketball program certainly is very relevant, and we had some great players. We had Seventh Wood, Chavez Goodwin, Jonathan Yuckmile, Banks Brown, Mike Turner, Gresset Felder, just some great seniors this past year that showed great leadership, so very blessed.
Obviously the teams that you have had at Hammond have been, is the players you just mentioned, great talent, but it wasn't just Hammond. Skeeza basketball in South Carolina doesn't even resemble what it looked like from top to bottom even 5 years ago. Talk about the growth that you have seen being on the sideline of the opponents of the other teams in Skeeza, and how it has truly become it's become kind of a destination thing now to play for a Skeeza team, whereas it wasn't too very long ago where it was almost looked down upon.
You know, that's a good point. I think at most of the Skeeza private schools, you can get a great education, and now you can get great competition and great coaching. You know, to your point, last year, and Charleston was the number ranked team in all of Charleston, all schools. We're the number one ranked team in the Midlands for all schools. So I don't think there's a difference between SCISA and public school. We could have easily have played in 4A, 3A, 2A, any of those, and fought for state titles the last 3 or 4 years, and we've proved that. So if you want to put on my tombstone that we weren't afraid to play anybody, and we played everybody, and we beat most everybody. So you know, to beat people, to get respect, you got to go play people, and you got to beat people. And I think that's what we've done the last 2 or 3 years, beating the Spring Valleys and the Keenans and the Flores and the Dreers, and list goes on and on. So I don't think there's much difference between SCISA and public school anymore at all.
You have accomplished, among the big things that come to my mind, winning the Chick-fil-A Classic. There was the game against Spring Valley in their gym that where 7th had an incredible game, and you blew out the team that was at the time ranked number 1 in the state. State championship last year, and several others. Have you thought, or can you answer, of all the individual accomplishments as far as winning games or tournaments, which one kind of, is there one that sticks out just a little bit more than the others?
Well, obviously it's got to be a state championship, just because you don't want that individually. I've got my own personal accolades and accomplishments that I've done. You want it for your team, just
right.
Like as parents, you want it for your children.
Sure.
So got to be a state championship, number 1.
But Chick-fil-A wasn't bad.
Chick-fil-A would
That's
be
pretty strong, man.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A would be up there. Spring Valley probably up there. Winning Greenville would be up there. The Flora game this year was a lot of fun. Just the crowd and the enthusiasm, and I don't want to say animosity between the two schools, but just the competitive camaraderie of wanting to beat each other's schools. So that's probably a top 5 list. I hadn't really reflected on it, but the state championship, Chick-fil-A, Spring Valley would probably be up there just because of the anticipation and the matchup of everything, and that was pretty exciting.
You're a former star at Dreer, played for Coach Kress at College of Charleston, and now have coached for many years, including your pre-varsity at Hammond, and then you coached throughout your life in AAU. Do you plan to, on any level, coach again? And if not, that leads me to the question. You've been out on that basketball court one way or the other for the last 45 years, going back as a player. If you don't return, and at any level, which I guess would be just maybe coaching kids, man, how much are you going to miss this? Have you thought about that? It's a big part of your life.
I think that's a great question. I'm going to go to Disney World first when I get done, leave here.
Can I go?
Secondly,
Charlie and I, actually.
I don't know. You take Spurrier's comment. You never say never. You know, I'm not that old, so under the right circumstances, would I coach again? Potentially. Certainly would like to maybe coach some AAU teams and other stuff and stay active, because I enjoy kids and I like being around kids, and obviously I love the game and like teaching the game. So certainly I'll coach somewhere along the line. I just need to let someone else have the shot at Hammond and continue to lead these fine men.
Last thing I want to ask you, and this is as much for the fans of basketball in the Midlands and the state, and heck, even in the nation to a certain extent. You had the awesome opportunity to not only coach 7th Woods and Chavez Goodwin, but to see those kids improve from just being kids to being 7th, one of the top recruits in the country, going to defending or going to the runner-up on Monday night, UNC Tar Heels, and of course Chavez going down to play at your alma mater, College of Charleston, where pretty much unanimously it seems that everyone thinks that they're really getting a prize. So obviously these are 2 kids that have gotten a lot of attention and are very special. Just maybe, I don't mean final thoughts forever, but just kind of capsulize what it's been like to coach those 2 guys in particular and how you foresee their futures.
You know, that's a good question. Another thing I'd like to add is the rest of the program in general, of people wanting to beat Hammond or having 7th and Chavez, how much it created a uniqueness that all the gyms that we went to were always packed, and we had to be ready to play. So I'm really proud of the way the kids responded to adversity in other away gyms and at home. And secondly, I got lots of comments and compliments through the course of the year of how well the kids were good sports, good character, and represented the school. So I'm really proud of that. You asked me about accomplishments. I'm proud of the character that our kids showed over the last 5 years. So I'm very proud of that. In regards to Seventh, hey, we've been together since he was 12. I've coached him for 5 years. You know, I kind of think of him as told his parents when he first came to Hammond, I would look out for him as if he were my own son. And, you know, he's handled the pressures and the videos and the hype and the ridiculous expectations of being the next LeBron with such style and grace and humility. And, you know, I don't know if there's many kids in the country that probably could have done that. He plays at a very even level, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, doesn't try to show people up, but yet still plays at an extremely high competitive level, has a drive to win, very unselfish player, can go for 50 anytime, and not one time in 5 years has he ever complained to me about not getting enough shots or not being the focal point of the offense. And that's a special team player. And I think my prediction for him when he goes to the next level is he'll get lots of playing time. I think he'll be fighting for a starting position next year. He's good enough, he's athletic enough, and hopefully we've taught him enough about the game and prepared him at the next level to carry on what Roy Williams wants. Chavez is just, I don't know if I could have foreseen how good Chavez has gotten in his confidence level, and I'd like to think we had a lot to develop with Chavez and developed his game, developed his confidence, and you know, if Chavez was still an undecided player right now, he would be playing at a very high major. If not the ACC, certainly the SEC or some other major power conference would be drooling to get Chavez Goodwin right now. I'm more proud of Chavez, not only has he developed as a great player, but his demeanor and his attitude and his whole personality has developed as a young man and fun to be with, and he became a great leader for us this year. He was kind of the glue, the vocal glue of our team this past year, and you know, I'd look to him and maybe Michael Turner, some others to kind of make the team accountable, and Chavez was always one that always spoke up. But his game at College of Charleston, obviously I know Earl Grant and the coaching staff down there, they are thrilled to get Chavez, and you know, he's a professional. He'll be playing in Europe or somewhere when his college career is over because he's a talented 6'9" kid that can score inside and outside. So, you know, who knows? Chavez might get to the league one day himself. But I'm certainly proud of those two and how they develop not only as players but young men.
Well, it's been a tremendously successful, tremendously rewarding, just a tremendous 5 years. I know for you, for the program, for the players, and everybody, and we appreciate you spending a little time with us here, and we know that we'll see you again. But congrats on a incredible run and being a part of, we really think, changing the face of Skeeza basketball in Columbia, Coach. Enjoy that retirement, but we know you're going to be around, right?
Well, thanks a bunch. It's kind of a sad day. I got teary-eyed telling the kids and cried in front of them for probably the 20th time, so I'm getting good at that. But it's very rewarding, and I want to thank Hammond for the opportunity to coach here. It's been a very special time in my life.
And now Caroline will probably say, you get to know her a little bit.
Hopefully my wife would be happy to have me back.
Right, after the last 5 years of lots of coming home late from my games. Hey, Coach, appreciate it, man, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Thanks again.